Episode 111 of the Small Business Big Marketing Show, in which Andrew Griffiths and I get stuck into some very funny business.
Welcome to the Small Business Big Marketing Show, where successful small business owners share their secrets to take your marketing to the next level. Now here's your host, Tim Reid.
G'day everyone and welcome back to Australia's #1 marketing show. I'm your host, Timbo Reid. You are a motivated small business owner and we are brought to you by the very good folk at Net Registry, where 1 in 3 Australian domain names are registered. Now, big show. Today is episode 111 of the show, but it's also episode 4 of Funny Business. Now, if you haven't listened to a Funny Business episode previously, that is when Andrew Griffiths and I get together and throw around a few business issues that are on our collective minds. Andrew Griffiths is Australia's #1 small business author. He's written 11 books. He's got plenty to say. I struggle to get a word in. But today, in this episode, we are going to cover quite a bit. Here's what we've got in store for you. We're going to talk about what planning we both do or should do for each of our businesses. We are going to talk about how to get a little creative when it comes to saying thank you to your clients. We are also going to share our top 3 public speaking tips and discuss what we are too scared to try doing in our businesses. Hey? We come clean. This is all about transparency. Insert spooky music right there, I reckon, because there are things we're both scared about and we want to share them with you in the hope, and all that is in the hope that you and your business grow. Now, as I said, we're brought to you by Net Registry, and they are the #1 place for registering domain names in Australia, but so much more. They're basically the place to get your online marketing sorted. They've got an exclusive listener package called the Website Refresh, where you get a complimentary one-on-one review of your website if it's feeling a bit tired and in need of improvement. They then make recommendations, they give you a quote, and they give you, the SBBM listener, 50% off their hourly fixed rate. So why don't you go over to smallbusinessbigmarketing.com and click on the banner on the right-hand side, the Net Registry banner, and that will take you to that page, that package, and you'll get a whole lot of free ebooks there as well for your marketing pleasure. Now, let's get over to the Funny Business Studio, where I start by asking Griffo what 3 things he couldn't do without in his business. Now, Griffo, three things you couldn't do without in your business. Let's go one for one.
All right. Well, you start. What's the first thing you couldn't do without?
Well, mate? I'll start with it's the obvious one, but I couldn't do it without my MacBook. You know, and I'll be specific. It is a MacBook, not just any old PC. Nothing on the dark side. My Apple MacBook Pro, and I love it. I love it. I love its intuitiveness. I love the fact that nothing ever goes wrong. And mate, I've coined a new term. It's called Macketing. and I'll tell you why. When I first thought, I'm being funny here, but during this roadshow, talking to all these financial planners, I said, here's the thing, guys, go and spend out your $1,000, $1,200, buy a MacBook Pro, put it in the corner, and that is your marketing machine, right? Because it's so easy to do marketing on a MacBook. There are so many great bits of software that are Mac friendly. It comes with, for example, Photo Booth, which is the simplest way to do video marketing. Stuff like that. So Macketing is the new black, mate.
Mate, look, I've never used a PC in my life. I just was one of those people who always use Macs, and I'm part of the clan. I'm part of the cult. I'm part of it as well. But I agree with you completely. Having your great MacBook Pro is an idea. I've got Macs everywhere, and I'm a big fan as well. Now, my first thing is one thing I couldn't do without in my business is my library. I have literally thousands of books that my place looks like. This is what the Amazon warehouse probably looks like.
Yeah.
And I use my books. They are all non-fiction. They're all business, personal development, on all ranges of topics, and I use it a lot. Whenever I'm preparing for a presentation, talking to clients, doing stuff like our show, even I'm grabbing books. I'm doing a radio interview. I'm flicking through the library, and I get a lot of great ideas. I'm feeling a bit flat or a bit down, pick up a book that's going to inspire me, read an old classic. My library is everything.
Griffo, are they categorised? Have you gone through?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow. Hang on. Let me, no, don't tell me. Now, what are we talking here? Are we talking alphabetically by author's surname? Are we talking by title, by topic? I'm going to guess, I don't know. I'll go alphabetically by author's surname.
No, nothing that dull and boring. They're by category, and I actually paid a lady to come in and spend 2 weeks to go through, and a dear friend of mine, actually, Stacey, came in and she had to give each book its own assigned number, had to categorise them. We worked together and came up with the categories. I think better in terms of like customer service category, the public speaking category, the sales category, the marketing category, and then of course half of it is the general category. But it's and I've also got them all indexed on my own spreadsheets and things like that. So when I'm looking for a book, I know how to actually find it where it is.
There is, I think there is an iPhone app, and don't ask me what it's called or how to find it, but I'm sure it allows you to scan a book. What is it? The ISBN number. It then puts all that information into some kind of online category system, and something
undoubtedly, mate.
Something very anally retentive.
Thank you. All right, what's your second one, buddy?
Mate, okay. Having been doing a lot of travel of late, I bought myself, now it wasn't the primary reason for buying these, but a pair of airport-friendly shoes.
Beautiful.
I know.
Yeah, mate, that's called getting older. It's up there with stretchy pants.
Hang on. They're actually a fashionable shoe. So primary reason for buying the shoe, they look good. Second reason, I get them home and they've got this little tag on it that's got a QR code, and it says they're airport friendly, which means they don't beep when you go through the scanner. And I like that because any time I do beep, it's the shoes I'm wearing, and I have stopped wearing the stilettos, but because the buckle was a real problem. But
it's the suspenders, mate.
It's the suspenders,
the metal detector.
So my airport-friendly shoes, not only comfortable and highly fashionable, but highly functional. What's your second one?
My next one is keeping the airport theme. Actually, is noise-cancelling headphones. I bought these.
You won't be able to hear yourself talk. Jeez, what are you going to do?
I spending a lot of time in noisy places on aeroplanes and even before venues, when you're at a venue and there's a whole pile of people before you present, or even just in a hotel room and you just want to have some quiet time. I find that noise cancelling headphones keep me sane, and they allow me to really focus on what it is I'm working on, or just to be able to listen to some music and relax. But I just, I've always, I think I've probably had them for the last 10 years or so, and actually just bought a new set.
What are we talking, Bose?
Yes, mate. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I don't know, it's $300 or $400, but if you travel a lot, or if you're in and out of noisy places, or you struggle to focus, their noise cancelling headphones are just the bee's knees.
Yeah, right. Okay,
fantastic, mate. So I highly recommend them. Okay, number 3 for you, Timbo.
This is a big one, and in fact, I think I'm about to get a third. But the third thing I couldn't do without is a second screen or a second monitor at my workstation. It just increases your productivity. I don't know how many-fold, but the ability to have stuff open and not have to flick between stuff is brilliant. And I think a third screen would increase that even more.
Right, okay, yeah. I mean, I haven't got a second screen, but you've convinced me. I've got to get one. I don't know if I've got a big enough desk.
Well, get a big enough desk, because I can. How often are you flicking between stuff?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm just used to it. I've just kind of, have a pile of files open. I don't know. It doesn't really seem to stress me out. But of course, you don't know what you're missing out until you've actually got it, of course. So.
Best $150 you'll ever spend. What's your third one?
My third one is a notepad. I don't go anywhere without a notepad. Now, whether it be even just going for a walk or having a coffee or whatever it might be, out and about, I always keep my notepad handy. And I do that because I find that when I write, I actually think as well. I write down ideas. If I see something which I think is relevant, I'm always looking for business ideas. I'm always observing what are people doing well, what are they doing badly. I'm forever writing that stuff down, planning that stuff, adding to my to-do list. Just all of those things. Now, I know you can do all of that stuff electronically. I kind of get that. But I must say, I do like the feel of being able to write things down. And I keep all my old notebooks, part of my my annual retention, because I've probably got 10 years worth of old notebooks. And I'm surprised at how often I do go back through those. Often I'll digitize it, I'll scan a page and, put that into the system or whatever the case may be. But I really do find just being able to, when you've got a thought or an idea, to write it down, because you lose so many thoughts throughout the space of the day. I hate that. And I was starting to go, God, great ideas that I've had and I've just lost them. And that's why I started using notebooks so many years ago and just kind of kept up the habit.
Do you have a favourite pen? I find that the notebook for me, love writing, but there's a certain kind of shiver that I get up my spine when I find the perfect pen. Don't like a felt tip. Yeah, I know. Part of funny business, mate, is just it's transparency. That's one of our guiding principles. I love it. I love a medium ballpoint.
Yeah. Well, I must say, I'm looking around at my desk and I've got 8 pens at the moment, and they are Pilot Supergrip medium ballpoints.
I reckon you'd be a bit of a Mont Blanc bloke myself. Hey,
I've got a Mont Blanc, but you know what? I never use it because I'm always too scared of leaving it behind. And I always carry it with me, but I don't use it. And I actually don't find that it writes that well. It doesn't write anywhere near as well as a $2 pen.
But loving brands as you do, just knowing that you've got one, do you feel as though you've made it?
It's security.
Yeah. And every now and then I caught you once. I remember catching you. You didn't know I was listening, but you were saying to some bloke, you realise I've got a Mont Blanc, don't you?
Put it in your top pocket just so you look the part. That's right. I want a diamond one.
I hang it off my Cartier watch.
I love it. All right, mate. Now, next, on to, what about planning? Should we talk about planning for your business?
Yeah.
What do you No, that's all right.
No. Sorry,
I'm in business mode today, mate. I'm keeping us on track.
We were living up to the name of the show, Funny Business. Enough of that. Planning. What do you got about planning, mate? Because this is a big one. I am the world's worst planner.
You really see? I don't see that in what you do, Tim. Everything you do seems to me to be well planned. I look at the show. I mean, you've always, very strategic about what we're doing. Your new business, start your own show. Have your own show.
Get your own show.
Get your own show. I don't know. I mean, for me, what's interesting, and it's always, in certain times of the year when there's a bit of a break around. It might be Easter. It might be Christmas. It might be whatever. I think it's really great to take time out and have a mini retreat. Even if you're a one-person business, you need to take time out. For me, most people know I live in Cairns. I go across to Green Island and spend a night on Green Island, and I use the time, sit on the beach, have a little bit of space, and just think about where my business is going. I ponder your successes, in my case, and also the things that I didn't do so well that I want to do better as I'm going ahead.
Do you have a set format for that? Do you
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Not really. Well, the format for me is that. What have I done really well, in the last 6 months or 12 months that I'm really proud of? What are my successes? And then what are the things that I felt that I didn't do as well? And then out of that, then I pick a theme for sometimes a year ahead or the next 6 months or next 12 months. And it might be, I want to do less, but I want to do what I do better. It might be I wanted to have more attention to detail. It might mean I want to get better at saying no to the projects I don't want to do, or, I want to charge what I'm worth, or whatever the theme may be.
Is that a theme, just to understand that, is that theme for you an internal theme to ponder? It's not a theme to position yourself for the coming year in the marketplace, correct?
That's exactly right, mate. It's a theme internally, but it becomes my little voice at the back of my head, which is saying, okay, your theme for this year is to do less and do what you do better. Okay, so hang on, you're taking on all these things. Are you really living up to that theme? So it's a little bit of an internal accountability to say, okay, my theme for the year is this, but am I actually doing that? I had a year, probably 6 or 7 years ago, which was my year of incompletes. And that was getting rid of all of that huge pile in the corner of stuff that you needed to do that you haven't done, and was just incompletes, and then addressing incompletes every week. so that I would actually end the week without having incomplete things, emptying the inbox so that there was no emails at the end of the day, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You develop really, really good habits.
Can I just say, incompletes weigh you down. They're intangible. Sometimes they're tangible, but more often than not, it's that bloody inbox, or it's that unfinished project, or it's those calls you haven't returned. And whether they're top of mind or they're somewhere in the subconscious, they bloody slow you down.
Absolutely, and I think that we all have them. And I know in the past, for me, I've had times when my incomplete pile, that little irritating pile that is there of all the stuff that's complicated, that needs a bit of attention. Maybe it's a difficult conversation with someone, or you've got it like going. For me, the worst one of all is going to the Department of Motor Transport for registration or licensing. It's like the zombie graveyard, and you say,
right.
"Oh, don't make me go there. Once every 5 years is more than enough."
Right.
But it's like, okay, well, I've just got to do it. I may as well do it now. But that huge big pile, and you're right, it weighs you down. When you actually get it done and you go through it, it does feel fantastic.
It does, gives you, it absolutely does. When you go to Green Island by yourself, and you have a bit of it's a time to reflect and a time to look forward. What about, so for me, that's a kind of nice thing to do, but I would find having someone alongside me to kind of bounce ideas off, sounding board, be told, hey, you're on a right track, on the wrong track, have you considered this? Do you do that as well?
I do that afterwards. So I've got a few friends of mine who do similar things to what I do, and once I've kind of worked out what I've done well, the things that was my successes, the things I haven't done so well, what I want to do is my theme for the coming year and what my priorities are. Once I've got that right in my head, that's then when I meet up with two particular friends of mine, and they do the same thing. And then we actually have that strategy session where I run through all of those things, and it's a bit of a celebration. It's a bit of a reality check. It's a bit of a picking holes in it.
Yep.
Those kind of things. So like mini accountability groups. And to me, I think that's really powerful as well. It's got to be people you trust, got to be people you respect and admire, I think is the other thing there. But I do agree with you, mate. I think it's a wonderful opportunity to be able to go, okay, yep, I've got some ideas, but I want to just stress test those a little bit and see if other people think I'm on the right track, or if is my head in the clouds, am I off with the pixies? So,
it's interesting. As you know, I'm in the process of putting together my first deep dive mastermind, where I'm bringing together a group of 10 to 15 small business owners. We meet once a week via webinar around the virtual boardroom table, and every single one of them, and I'm doing these discovery calls where if you want to be part of it, we hook up for 10 minutes on Skype or on mobile and get a sense of how you think this can help you. And every single one of them is talking about, I need someone to help me bounce planning ideas off and get an independent third party kind of view on what it is I'm doing. So as small business owners, mate, I think that is mission critical. Hey, why don't we move on? I like this next topic. I'm going to go to public speaking, our top three.
Okay.
Because it's something, you and I do a lot of public speaking, keynote speaking, presentations, etc. And it's something that everyone's afraid of, everyone, let's share our top three public speaking tips. Why don't you start?
Okay. Oh, yeah, good. And it's a great topic. And I find too, mate, people are being asked to present a lot more often. I mean, I do presenters boot camps, where I teach people how to be better presenters on a regular basis. And you know what? I'm amazed at who does these things, who comes along. I get teachers, I get priests that come along, I get doctors, chiropractors, I get personal trainers, I get tourism people, I get entertainers, comedians, cowboy rodeo people who have to get up and say things to when they win awards, or sports people. Honestly, it blows me away. I go through the list and go, really? What are you guys doing here? And everyone is saying the same thing. Oh, I get the opportunity to present, or I have to present as part of my job. And I don't know. I've never had any training. I don't know what to do. Most people haven't, and they just end up trying to figure it out as they go.
And can I just say, added to that, before you share that first tip, two things. speaking from stage is just a brilliant marketing strategy, and I've spoken about that before on small business marketing and I'll small business big marketing, and I'll touch on it again in the future, I'm sure. But it's powerful. The second thing is, my first 10 years of my working life were in a large advertising agency, and they provided us with lots of training, all different sorts of training. The training, and at that point, I wasn't doing a lot of speaking, a lot of public speaking. I was needing to present in client meetings and present creative ideas and strategy, etc. So I guess in a sense that's public speaking, but I found looking back, the most effective training that I've ever done in my business career was the yearly public speaking workshop they put us through. And not only did it allow me to speak publicly, but it gave me confidence in all other aspects of my life. Because if you nail public speaking, there's just kind of many positives that come from it.
I couldn't agree more, and I think we see examples of that all the time. So, yeah, fabulous topic. Okay, my first tip is that to be, I think, a great public speaker in whatever format that is for you, you've got to be a master at doing your homework. And what I mean by doing your homework is you've got to be a master of doing your homework on the venue, knowing where it is, something as simple as that. A number of people that turn up to the wrong venue because it's booked in at a Mantra hotel and they arrive at a Mantra hotel, but there happen to be 15 Mantras in that same area, for example. You got to know the venue. How big is it? How small is it? How wide is it? I spoke at a venue last year, I think it was, and they said, there's 600 people there. Now, I imagine quite a wide room, but when I actually got there, it was really deep and long.
It's a tunnel.
And it went back forever. Now, I had to quickly change my slides because there's no way the people at the back of the room would have been able to read any of my information. So you need to do your homework ahead of your time. Most venues have a picture of the rooms online, so you can check it out on doing that side of things. But I also think your homework has to extend to your audience. You got to know who you're talking to. So if I'm doing a paid presentation where I'm going on any presentation, really, I always have a briefing session with the event organisers where I'm asking them, tell me about the audience, their demographic, what their problems are, what their challenges are, any of that information that you can have that makes you go in being more prepared. And also I do my own research on the company itself and see what are people saying. I do Google searches, check out LinkedIn stuff and see if there's communication happening, because I've actually been misled a few times where I've gone to present at an event and they've told me everything's fantastic and the crowd has been quite hostile, which has been really unsettling for me, and only to find out there's this major issue that is about to be dealt with, and they've asked me to come in and do a motivational talk for it, and it just looks so fake and contrived, and of course the audience blame me, and it's like, okay guys, that didn't happen. So do your homework, know the venue, know the audience, know the company, even know the city where you're presenting. If I'm going to present in Bendigo, first thing I'll do when I get to Bendigo is I'll buy the local newspaper, ring the local Chamber of Commerce. Hey, what's going on around here? I'm in town. Just want a bit of information, a bit of ideas. So you're not going in blind. Information is vital to being a great presenter.
Could not agree more, mate. And on the topic of venue, one thing I do when I arrive at the venue, and I will have done my research, checked it out online, done all that, I go into that room and I wander around the room. I wander I wander up and down every row if it's theatre style. I wander around every table if it's tables. In fact, if I want to be completely ridiculous about it, I touch every chair. Now, this is, call me weird, but
you're weird.
Thank you. Did you just call me weird? It connects me. It connects me to that space. And then when I am speaking, and I am a bit of a wanderer when I'm on stage, I then, for whatever reason, feel like I feel comfortable in that room. And if I want to wander out into the audience, I feel as though I've been there before. And it gives me a level of comfort in doing that.
Right.
So, what about you? Next one?
Okay. The next one is to really be authentic. Don't try and impress people with your knowledge. Because I'm presenting all the time, like yourself, mate, we sit in on so many presentations from other people. The ones that really don't work are the ones where people are trying too hard. just be authentic, be real, laugh at yourself, share your own experiences, what you've done well, what you haven't done so well, and what your learnings are. Through anecdotes, through stories, people really do kind of get that and they relate to that. And a great presenter is always one who talks from the heart. And doesn't matter what the topic is. And that's the thing that people, that's why we see such terrible PowerPoints, because people think that the data is information, and if there's lots of information, you're really going to impress the audience. And the reality is that it's just not true. What's going to impress the audience is you being authentic, being able to laugh.
And let's just be clear, because authenticity, overused word, but you can be authentic by prefacing, and not every slide, but have a story that backs up what it is you've got to share. So instead of just reporting on a fact, turn it into some kind of story or anecdote or something that's engaging and makes it real.
In Australia, people particularly like self-depreciating humour. That's where you make fun of yourself. Yeah. And you know what? You can never go wrong by making fun of yourself. You can go wrong by making fun of others.
Oh yeah,
and that's why it's an interesting point. And you're right. The word authenticity is overused. But I find just before I go on stage, my whole thing is I just get in my own little headspace and I go, you know what? I just want to really help this audience. I want to help everyone in this room. And the best way I can do that is to share what I've learned.
I have that word share top of mind. I'm here to share.
I'm here to share and I'm here to help. And when you do that, you don't need to impress. You don't need to, the insecurities of, oh my God, what are they going to think of me? It goes out the window when you go, guys, if you want to be helped and you want to do whatever it is you need to be doing better, then hopefully the information I'm going to share is going to help you do that. And I love it. And I've seen so many different people who present, sports people or people who've done incredible things, climb mountains with one arm or won these incredible endeavours around the place.
Doing handstands.
You look at them, and their stories are just wild, and it's because they're so real. So
I have a line that I often use, Griffo, that I stand there and say, I wish... And my hope is that for every one of you, for the next 30 minutes or how long ever I've got with you, that you get, and it might be one cracking idea that you can take back and implement, but it's that I wish for you type thing.
Absolutely. Love it.
Now, mate,
what's your next one?
On the topic of PowerPoint, once again, big topic. Where do you start? Where do you finish? Use it. Go for it. And it's a good thing used well. Don't lean on your slides. Don't rely on your slides. Don't turn your back on the audience and read from your slides. Don't just PowerPoint is there to make a point. Every PowerPoint slide should have one point. I look at each PowerPoint slide as effectively an ad, and a good ad has one takeout in it. So don't lean on your slides. Know your material, because here's the thing: your whole nervousness around public speaking dissipates. I'm not saying it disappears. In fact, I don't think it should completely disappear, but it dissipates if you know your stuff. And you shouldn't be speaking about something you don't know about. And if I just get specific, back to my Macketing, use Presenter View, because PowerPoint on Mac, I don't know whether it is on the dark side on PCs as well, but they have a thing called Presenter View, which shows you not only the slide that everyone's seeing, you see on your screen the next slide that's coming up. It gives you it tells you how long you've been speaking for. You can see your presenter notes. It's good. So know your material. Don't lean on your slides.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with that completely. And I think that the way that I explain that to people is, when you're the presenter, you're the main event. You're the person that they're there to see. Actually, it's not your slides. Your slides are just a bit of candy dressing to help illustrate the point, or to make a little bit of enjoyment, or a little bit of laughter, or a little bit to help out. But the reality is that things go wrong, and I see presenters fall apart at the seams because the data projector's blown up, and they go, "Oh, okay, we've just got to stop." I've been to so many events where technical problems have caused a major issue and no one can go on. My view is if the data projector blows up, my presentation's not going to miss a beat. I'm still going. I'm organised. I'm prepared. I've got my notes. I know what I'm going to do.
Well, A, you should know your stuff. B, have a printout of your slides so that at least you can flick through them and keep going. What's your third one, mate?
My My third one's a little bit related to that, and that is don't be overly reliant on technology. One of the things that I really, really struggle with is when I go to a presentation of some sort, and the person's there spending the first 15 minutes of the presentation trying to get an internet connection so that they can show a movie or something like that. Now, I have never been to a hotel room anywhere in the world where there are not internet problems. And people are trying to stream that. Their presentation's 12 gigabytes and they're wondering why it can't play. So the audience is sitting there throughout through most of the event, listening to the presenter apologising about, sorry, that didn't work. And now I'm running short on time because I spent 20 minutes trying to get this going. So I can't show you that slide. Oh, no, there's no information. So they're apologising, then they're skipping through everything. The only video I have on my website is embedded, so I know that I can control it, and even that I don't particularly like, but I plan everything around the fact of what if something goes wrong? What are the worst case scenarios which you plan for? Now, I've presented, Tim, in some bizarre situations. I've had situations, I've been presenting to a group of 300 people in a rainforest setting in North Queensland, and there are snakes. I've looked over to the dance floor of this outdoor venue, and there's a big dirty python coming across the dance floor towards me. Now, this is a rocky, dark little alcove. Do I make an announcement to 300 people? Oh, by the way, folks, there's snakes here. There would have been people killed, trying to escape. These people are all from Sydney. I'm going, you got to be kidding me. You have to plan for whatever can go wrong. And that means things like, yes, I always have a spare presentation, a copy in a USB stick. I have two copies, a USB in my suitcase, USB in my briefcase.
Do you carry a snake hook, like one of those things?
Mate, you become a snake wrangler. I've had where the lights have gone out in a venue, where the person before you has spoken for 2 hours instead of 15 minutes, where, the crowd's gone angry, where someone's had a heart attack in the middle of a presentation. All these kind of crazy things that can go wrong. I really do a pretty strong risk analysis and go, okay, what are the things that can go wrong? What are completely out of my hands? And what can I do to manage it? And honestly, I could talk for a day about the bizarre things that I've experienced as a presenter that make me a little bit paranoid, I've got to say.
I reckon, and we've spoken about this, and maybe we lay the challenge down, but one of the things we do in the coming 6-12 months is put together a little training product on this, because this is a massive topic. I mean, goodness me. I mean, there is so much. My last point, Griffo, is, and this should help people get a great start, because you want a great start. When you are speaking, that opening 30 seconds, that opening minute.
Everything, isn't it?
It is everything. So my advice, tip number 3, spend time crafting and engaging opening and good quality time. I just came off the back of a road show last week, and I was very, very proud of my opening, because the opening, it was all about asking I did 2 things. I got up there. I didn't rattle on about myself, because I'd been introduced. So, hate it when speakers rattle. I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. Avoid that at all costs. Secondly, I said, in the spirit of the fact that we've both got a modest amount of time, I've got 90 minutes with you, and the fact that we've all got modest marketing budgets, let's get stuck in and make best use of this time. I then said, I want you to imagine some things. I want you to imagine being an opinion leader in your industry. I want you to imagine creating a marketing campaign that blah, 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 blah. And I took them on this journey of having them imagine where they could be with their marketing. And then at the end of that opening, which went for about 60 seconds, said, righto, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. And they were like, wow, bring it on.
Yeah, mate, it's such a powerful thing, isn't it? Look, can I just add one more point to this one as well? Just something for those people who have got nerves, and I know most people who are presenting are terrified. A really, really simple thing. If you're prepared, you've done your homework, you're going to be authentic, you've got great stories, you've got a great opening, as Timbo just said. If you're doing that, I'll tell you what, your nerves will be dissipated by at least 50 or 60% because you're organised. But a really great little tip is to arrive early. Got to always be there early. And when people are arriving or having a cup of coffee outside, meet them, talk to them.
Correct.
Find a friend. I always find a friend. So in the don't know a soul there, I'll find someone to chat. Yep. And you know what? Part of my opening is always, I was out the front having a cup of coffee just before we started talking to Fred. And Fred said to me, one of the biggest problems in your industry is this. And all of a sudden, you're not an outsider anymore. You're part of the group.
Yep.
Fred's chuffed because you're mentioning him. You look at Fred, he's got a big smile on his face, and he becomes your biggest advocate in the room.
Yep.
If you start to get nervous, you don't want to just talk to Fred for the whole thing, but it just gives you that person in the audience with a big smile on their face who is now your buddy, and they're going to help you get through it. It really is a great little tip just for overcoming nerves. So it certainly works for me anyway.
Griffo, is that your final tip, or did you have one more?
No, mate, look, I've got thousands.
Oh, yeah. I think
my last one would be don't be a princess. I see a lot of presenters there that, they want a chimpanzee, giraffe, and 18 bottles of Perrier water in the green room out the back. I've really tried to build my reputation as a professional presenter by being easygoing.
I have too. I've simplified. I've simplified my. All I ask for is white roses, red M&Ms, and I'm anyone's.
Yeah, that's right. And a French poodle. Apart from that, you just have very, very simple taste. And I understand. But a lot of people are really difficult and really get stressed. And you know what? Just my whole view is I'm there to help the people that are attending, that have paid to come along or are there for whatever the reason is. And just don't be a princess when it comes to being a presenter.
One of my tasks over the coming couple of months downtime is to put together my speaker's website. So I'll share that with listeners once we've put all that together and show you the list of demands that I have.
Hey, can I give myself an unabashed plug in here? Yeah. My website, actually, so I won't wait for you to answer it, I'll just do it. Is my website just won the Queensland Multimedia Awards as the best e-commerce site in the awards in Queensland, which is pretty, and it's a presenter site basically. So
Andrew Griffiths.
Check it out, guys. AndrewGriffiths.com.au.
Well done, mate.
Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, congrats to my website developers, Precedence. They put it into categories and it won as pretty hotly contended topics. So, I'm pretty excited about that.
I blogged about this the other day, about this concept of awards. If you win one, share it. Sing it from the rooftops. Don't not in a way that's kind of sickening, like Andrew did. I mean, that was fairly sickening the way he kind of just rattled on about that. But I mean,
and opportunistic.
Yeah. But don't shy away from the fact it's not the be all and end all, but it is a good credentializer. Now, Griffo, what's the next thing on your mind, mate?
Mate, I want to ask you, what are you too scared to try doing in your business? It's a really good topic again, and I'm really glad you've posed this, because fear is not a good companion in the world of small business. So you tell me what made you put this question in there.
Oh, well, I am spending time now coming towards the end of the year and planning. I want to make sure that my coming 12 months is actually full of things that I enjoy doing, I know offer great value to my clients, and where I can make a real difference. Now, some of those things aren't going to generate the biggest cash flow for my business, right? There are other things that I could do where it's going to earn me more dough, but it's going to be less fun. I'm not going to make the biggest impact, etc., etc. And so there's a fear around changing, following that stuff that I know I'm good at, but I know it's the right thing to do. So while it scares me, I also know that it's the right thing to do. And I just think, once again, coming off this recent speaking gig and presenting just a truckload of new ways of marketing your business, it can be scary, and I saw that in people's eyes, and afterwards over the drinks after the session, where I'm scared to change. But there's that wonderful quote: if you think what you've always thought, you'll do what you've always done, and if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got. And
it's just fact, isn't it?
It's fact. It's fact, and I guess it's back to that rant up front where there will be people saying, "Oh, really?" Really? Including yourself. Ourselves are the number one, aren't they?
Absolutely. Our inner monologue is can be scary at times. I mean, I just wrote an article this morning for a client of mine. It's about talking about what happens when the phone stops ringing over Christmas. And will it ever ring again? And we've all experienced that. You know, the metaphoric phone these days is, of course, email as well. But I shut down for a couple of weeks at Christmas time. Is anyone ever going to contact me? Will I get any customers at all in the coming year? And that's a really natural kind of a fear early on. I think as you've been in business for a while, you know the phone's going to ring again. You get a little bit more reassured, but it takes a while to actually to become comfortable with that. It's a challenging one, that's for sure. So, hey, another interesting thing that I think is quite scary when it comes to business is actually sacking a customer or sacking a client that is really not. Kind of not playing the game or really not helping your business. Now, I know this is another one of those ones where there has been a fair bit of discussion around this in the last year or two. I mean, I've been talking about this for many years, is there are times we've got to say to people, hey, I just don't think we can work together. The key is, because for whatever reason, it might be they're too difficult, it might be that they're too demanding, it might be that they don't want to pay, it might be that they keep selling you this big dream. It's their dream, not your dream. You know, your job is to provide a product or a service. Don't buy into other people's dreams is the first thing I'd say there. But to know when to sack a customer, and I think if we get good at or even not even engaging with them, you know, in the early stages, being able to say, look, I know I'm not going to be able to meet this person's expectations. I know I'm not going to want to work with this person or this company. It's better off to say that up front. So I say it's great to have a good way of saying no. You know, work out how you can say no to people early on, rather than you get it involved and it gets messy, gets ugly. In the divorce, you lose more than just the house. So,
have you got something? I think it's a great point too. And have you got something right now that you're going, I don't think I can do it. I know I should, but I don't think I can do it.
For me, it's a big one. At the moment, I do quite a lot of consulting work, and I need to really say no to consulting work, at least limit it to one, maybe two clients as a maximum in the coming year. Now, consulting has been really the backbone of my business for many years, and but now, of course, there's so many other things that I'm doing that I really don't need to consult as much, but I still struggle to let go of it because I get so much work coming to me from that direction that it's easy, to be honest. It's safe because I write marketing plans on my ear. It's it's all of those kind of things. But as much as it's safe and all that other kind of excuses that I have there, the things that excite me, the things that rock my boat, the things that I'm really jump out of bed to want to do, all those little indicators. It's not consulting. It's everything else. It's doing stuff like this. It's coming up with my next book. It's teaching people how to write books. It's presenting. And I think being brave enough to listen to that and having a go is really what it's all about. But it is scary.
So you're going to do it? You're going to honour that?
Absolutely. I'm going to limit myself to 2 consulting clients next year maximum. And I normally have about 10 or 15 at any one time.
Yeah,
so,
right.
And I'm really looking forward to that. So great. Good
Love
concept.
It, mate.
Think about it.
Righto.
Yeah.
Now, look at the time. We are rocking. We've rocked through some topics. Got a couple more to go. Let's see how we go, Griffo.
Okay,
Otherwise,
mate.
we can save them over till next time. But let's talk about getting a little creative when it comes to thanking clients. Now, there's 2 things there. Well, there's a lot of things there. Number one, thanking clients. Crazy concept. So good thing to do. And in fact, I'll share what I did this week in regards to that little creative idea. But, I think we forget to thank clients. So number one, action point, thank clients. Get on the phone now. Stop this podcast, ring a client, thank them for the business, have no other agenda.
Absolutely.
And creativity, definition of creativity is doing something different. So changing the way you've gone about something. And I think when we hear that word, and I ran a marketing innovation session yesterday for a client, and I was talking about, why don't we be more innovative? Why don't we be more creative? We don't think we are. I hear that all the time, So
me too, all the time. We're not creative.
No, we're not creative.
Really?
No. Absolutely we are. Gosh, like we are, as human beings, we are emotional, creative creatures, and life has got in the way of actually doing that. We kind of err on the rational, but we are creative. We should thank clients. I'll share my idea after you share yours, mate. What do you do to creatively thank them?
I think, again, just to reinforce what you're saying there, I think that you're right. This is a bigger statement than it seems like. People don't thank their existing customers enough. You know what? how many times do you actually go into just a general kind of a shop to buy something, and do you really get a sincere thank you for choosing to use that business? We are not very good at saying thank you. Restaurants are generally not very good at it, from my experience. Many retailers are not. When you actually do find someone who is genuinely appreciative of your business, man, you really stop and notice it. And this is part of that whole engagement process. So first and foremost, further to what Tim was saying, we have to get really good at saying thank you, but we also need to go out of our way to do it. And again, as Tim said, that pick up the phone and ring someone for no reason other than to say thank you. I'm not ringing you to chase more work. I'm not ringing you to do anything but to say thank you. I appreciate you. I know you've got a choice. You've chosen my business, and for that, I'm eternally grateful. A friend of mine, he's a friend now, but he was a client of mine, and he's a professional photographer, and now I'm a client of his, and I get him to do some work for us. And he sent me a letter recently just saying, a handwritten letter saying thank you for the business. And it was just a really heartfelt thank you so much for sharing your knowledge, for being a client of mine, for helping me to grow my business. And I've still got that letter. And I think I'll probably keep it forever because it was so heartfelt. And that is a rarity. People don't, do those kind of things. I'm a big believer in going out of your way to really thank people and do things in a nice way. And look, for me, it is like, opportune times, the likes of Christmas, end of financial year, something like that. I use, Christmas as an example. For me, I'll get gingerbread houses made specifically for my clients. It's something a little bit unusual, a little bit different, but they're unique for my clients, and that's what I'll go and do. Or with my publishers, I would regularly send them like 101. My book series was 101 back then. 101 cupcakes done with little Santa faces on them, that kind of thing. And here's 101, excuses to say or ways to say thank you for your support during the year. All those kind of things. A cheap bottle of Plonk. At one stage, I had 200 cheap bottles of Plonk in my cupboard that I just gave away.
Boring.
It's like, really? Movie tickets, a nice idea, but really, it is not about how much you spend.
It's not. I think a gift that is personal is a good thing, that actually is for the client and or their partner, that they can do in their own time. I think that's a good idea. I think books. I really just think if you can identify, if you know that the client's into surfing or into architecture or into whatever they're into, just go and find that beautiful $40, $50 book and send it to them with a note in the front cover. I did a simple one this week, mate, where I literally, back to my concept of marketing, I sent a client a video and thanked them. It goes for 3 minutes, 26 seconds. I'm having a look at it now. I literally opened up Photo Booth on my Mac. I hit record, and then I uploaded it to my YouTube channel and listed it as unlisted. So only people with the link can see it. And I just sent it to them, and it was literally me talking to camera. That is it. But it was a heartfelt thank you, and I know how much they appreciated it. They left a comment in the comment section of the video on YouTube, and man, that's so simple to do.
Mate, well, and funny you should mention surfing, because I was going to use an example here where a friend of mine sent a small business that he did quite a bit of work with. He paid for them to all go and have surfing lessons.
Oh, great.
And the whole group got together. He went down as well early in the morning, those who wanted to, of course.
Yep.
And there was only, I think, 6 people in the other company, and they all went down. So at 6 o'clock in the morning, they're all having the surf lesson, having a get-together on the beach. It cost him, I think it might have been $400 or $500, but he gets hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of business out of this small company. And it's like, they're just so tight. And I think that's exactly it, isn't it? Kind of showing that you've really thought about it, showing that you appreciate the fact that these people have got a choice. Everyone has got a choice, more choice than ever. And we all like to be appreciated. We all like to know that someone hasn't taken a moment to say, hey, thanks, Tim. This is my way of saying thank you. It's just something little, but it's personal. And I think that we got to get great at doing that. Not just good at it, not even a bit of taking thought. We got to be great at it. And it's a really great marketing tool, but don't do it for that reason. It's a nice bonus. But, most people, again, it's just done a cheap card with random signatures all over it. Like they've sat down and written just a signature to 200 people. Don't even send a card.
Don't bother.
If you're going to do that.
Do not bother.
Make a donation to a charity.
Correct. Send the money to a good cause.
Absolutely. So, but
Griffo,
anyway.
Griffo, now, listen, mate, in the spirit of keeping these, well, they're not brief. We've got one topic. We're going to put that topic over to the next episode of Funny Business, which is all about how to overcome business setbacks, and we'll have a whole lot of other stuff to talk about by then as well. But, mate, it has been a pleasure, as always. I want a photo of you sitting on Green Island, hanging off the hammock. You'll have the shirt and tie on and the boardies. And I look forward to that. But, listeners, there'll be plenty of stuff in the show notes in terms of what we've spoken about, any links we've covered. But, Griffo, lovely to hear your voice. See you next time.
Thanks, mate, and very nice to hear about your stilettos and your fetish for touching tables. We've gone very deep and personal in this one. Where you guys are all finding out way too much about.
Goodbye. See you,
bye,
mate.
Timbo. See you, folks. Thanks for listening in, everyone.
Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed that as much as Griffo and I enjoyed putting it together. Lots of great interviews coming up. One a week every Tuesday is my aim, and love bringing them to you. If you want to work with me in a mastermind environment where I get a group of motivated small business owners together every Tuesday, go to deepdivemastermind.com and you'll find out exactly how you can do that and improve your marketing and grow your business all in one foul swoop. Until next time, love your work, love your marketing. Thanks for joining in. See ya.
You've been listening to the Small Business Big Marketing Show with Tim Reid. Want more marketing goodness? Then visit smallbusinessbigmarketing.com.